Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Joining BJ Rains today is KTVB Sports Director Jay Tust. Check him out on Twitter at KTVB Sports Guy and make sure to check out KTVB.com. Now, here's Jay Tust and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, happy Friday. How we doing, Boise State fans? BJ Rains, Jay Tust with you for another edition of Bronco Nation News Live. Make sure you're following us on the YouTube channel, Bronco Nation News. YouTube, it's youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. We're updating that, and we'd love to have you subscribe on the site as well. And go follow Jay on Twitter. He needs more followers at KTVB Sports Guy, as you heard there. So, Jay, it's Friday. How's it going, man?
It's going good. We have shifted gears. We've gone from big football games to big basketball games, and I know everybody's like, hey, it's Utah State or whatever, but usually Utah State is pretty good at basketball. And on top of that, this is like a massive, dare I say, monumental game. I mean, this is a quad one game at home for Boise State coming up tomorrow, BJ. Like, yeah, it's not often Boise State gets to host quad one games. So this is big time.
No, we'll talk plenty of basketball today. We'll talk a little bit of football as well. We are broadcasting from the Cutwater Canned Cocktail Studios. Pick up more than one of their 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. And Jay, I just confirmed the private jet for Las Vegas for the contest next week is going to be stocked with some Cutwaters, thanks to our sponsor, Cutwater Spirits and the local Stein Distributing here. So thank you to Courtney Stein Ditto and their crew. They're going to be hooking up the jet with some ice cold Cutwaters for the winners.
Nice. That sounds good.
Yep. Matt Bauscher, I'm sure, will have a couple on his way down. They'll be, they're going to be in a good mood.
Am I best friends with the winner by chance?
Huh?
Are my best friends with the winner by chance?
I don't know. Maybe if you know a Greg McVeigh, maybe you are.
Ask him if he wants to be for a weekend.
I'm sure we all can't be privileged enough to fly on that private jet, Jay. I'm sure.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Oh, man. We're talking basketball today. We're talking football. We got a lot going on, and appreciative of everyone for checking us out. And as I said, watching the show and commenting. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, we encourage you to flip over to the YouTube channel. We're trying to build that. The YouTube comments, the YouTube chats, the easiest way to interact with folks. And we appreciate ICCU, the sponsor of our YouTube chat. So get those comments in, and we'll get to those during the show. Rudy says right off the bat that everyone in Section 12 going with the headbands now for Abo and Najee Smith going with the headbands in Section 12. Jordan says looking forward to headband night too. Section 12 showing some love for Najee. And then, of course, Curtis says might be wearing a white headband to the game tomorrow with you. So we're going to be some headband. We need Jay Tust to show up with his camera in a white headband. Can we make that happen, Jay?
Rudy's so nice. I might. I'd at least ponder it.
I don't know. Rudy says, you asked the Fresno City Council to pass a resolution urging Elon Musk to make me a millionaire. Fresno City Council trying to get him in the Big 12 or the Pac-12, man. That's maybe a topic for another day, but
it might be because it was actually pretty comical because part of their argument is that they upset New Mexico in basketball on Tuesday.
They put that in there?
They said that at some point in time. I'm like, what? Whatever.
A city council resolution. Wow, I saw that and was kind of laughing about that. But we'll see. I on a kind of related note, I was driving by yesterday. We had basketball interviews over there, as you know. Jay, saw you there, and that scoreboard keeps getting bigger there in the south end zone, man.
Yeah, I stopped by to take I snapped off a little picture of it as well, and I think fans are. If you drive by, you can finally get an understanding of how big it's going to be. And I know we've said it on the show before, but the bottom of the new scoreboard will start where the top of the old scoreboard was.
I will say this though, if it only is as wide as the supports, I thought it was actually going to be a little bit wider. So I am curious.
I think it's wider. I think it'll go beyond the supports.
Okay, because if it just goes to the current frame of the supports, it's not as wide as I thought it was. But if it ends up going a little wider, that is massive, man.
Yeah, I think it'll go wider than the current. Like
we'll just have to see, because I know the original drawing they put out, it already looks different than that, because the drawings had the supports basically being like one support, and now the supports are like two. Each of the four supports is like a hard to explain, more of like a box than just a single pole or whatever, or steel.
It's a damn big scoreboard.
Yeah. But I mean, it's already looking a little different than the original drawings they sent out. So I don't know if that had to do with the problems with the steel or what. But that thing is kind of reminding you that there's things on the horizon for the football program. But obviously, there's money coming in for basketball as well. They're trying to do things with the the practice facility over there and all that, and things are going in the right direction from a money standpoint. But they gotta win on the court too. They had the 10-win football season. Now they're trying to parlay that into basketball. And as you said, Jay, early January we're saying big game, but I think if you look at the schedule, we're going to be saying big game about 12 more times this year. This really is a massive game. You mentioned it being quad one. I don't know if by the end of the year Utah State's still going to be top 30. We'll see. Right. But chances are it may end up being quad two. But again, right now it's quad one, and more importantly, it just gets you a win against a team ranked higher than you. It'll help your computer numbers, help your ranking, and help you start to build that resume for the NCAA tournament. And that's maybe 2-1 and 2-1 in conference too. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but you don't want to lose this and go to 1-2 in league, having to go to UNLV next week. And then Wyoming after that. The schedule doesn't get easy here.
Right, and I'd rather be realistic than greedy, right? Like you kind of have to understand like what needs to happen, right? Because expecting Boise State to go on the road and win at San Diego State again and win at Utah State again and pick up all these massive road victories that they were able to do last year. Like, I'm not saying they're not capable of doing it, BJ, but what I'm saying is that it's not super realistic. We saw it in Nevada, like another close game. It's hard to win on the road, right? And so I think the path to being in contention for a Mountain West title this year for Boise State, one of the main factors is just defending your home floor. If you can successfully defend your home floor, you'll pick up a couple of these games on the road as well against teams you should beat. And if you can do those things, you'll be in contention for a Mountain West Conference title at the end of this thing. So I would just say, especially this year, seeing how talented the league is, defending your home floor is imperative to being a title contender this year. And it all starts on Saturday against Utah State.
And I'll be honest, I'll just say this: I'm not really sold on Utah State, to be honest. I kind of want to see maybe is that a hot take? Is that a hot take? I guess I just want to see them play. You look at their numbers and who they've played and all this, and they really, I think Bradley, Santa Clara. They did beat Santa Clara, who Boise State lost to, but it was in Logan. I don't know. They don't really have any win. Oral Roberts is, I guess, their second best Ken Pom win. Washington State is their best win. They have 1, 2, 3. They have 5 top 100 Ken Pom wins too, but it's Washington State at 69, Oral Roberts at 73, Bradley at 86, Santa Clara at 90, Utah Valley at 94. I guess
San Francisco.
Utah, San Francisco is at exactly 100, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're already 100.
Gonzaga last night.
And they have Loyola Marymount's 102. They should have beat Gonzaga. Yeah. And they don't have any, they have a lot of decent wins. Air Force Fresno State 138. They just beat Air Force 174. Seattle U is 153. Utah Tech 196. San Diego is 170. I get it. I guess I just they scheduled kind of perfectly to get some high computer numbers by playing teams just good enough, but not like super elite. And I guess you could say that. I guess you could say the same thing for Boise State when you look at their numbers. But I guess I'm just still, Utah State's a solid team, but I'm not sold on them on being the number 121 ranked team in the country in terms of the net and things like that. So I'm just very eager to see A, how Boise State plays against them, and then B, what Utah State looks like the rest of the season. I mean, you could make the same argument for Boise State. Colorado's 52. That's their best win. St. Louis and Texas A&M have struggled since they played them. I get it, but I guess when I think of a top 21 team, I'm not sure Utah State's that, but we'll see tomorrow, and I think they're a very good team, and it's certainly a tough game for Boise State, no doubt about it, and the three-point shooting is going to be very key, but I guess I'm just, you think of like elite top 25 teams coming into Extra Mile Arena, and maybe I just haven't watched as much Utah State this year as some other teams, but they just don't, I don't know if scare me is the right word, but they just don't seem as daunting as like some of the San Diego State to Oregon type teams that have come in the past.
Well, and that's because I think why, because you say those teams like San Diego State team, San Diego State team is just going to be tough, right? Like that's going to be a fist fight, that's a brick fight, if you will. You're going to need stops in a game like the one that's going to be played at the X tomorrow, but it's just kind of different. You're going to, I think Leon said it best. Like, if you're not going to try to play a game of horse with Utah State because of their ability to shoot it, and they can really, really shoot it. When it comes to their 3-point field goal percentage, BJ, they're number one in the country. That's, sometimes Leon's like, oh yeah, they're like number one in the country, and you go back and you look and like, they're 11, which is great. In this case, they are the number one 3-point shooting team in the country.
Yep.
And so
40. You know what? Uh-oh. They're not. They're number 2 now.
What?
They're number 2. They got passed by Colgate last night.
Oh, they did? Okay. All right.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
All right. Well, there we go. Well, either way, when we talked to Leon yesterday,
yes.
stats are only through January 5th on the NCAA website at the moment. So I guess Colgate, I'm going to go on your word there. Colgate
according to Ken Palm, Colgate is 42.5 and Utah State is 41.9, number 2, according to.
I don't know if Ken Palm's right then, because
they played last night. They played last night against Navy.
The NCAA has Utah State at 43.4, and
that was counting on D1 games or something. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Okay. Well, either way,
Colgate was 9 of 16 from 3-point range last night to improve their number against Navy
for a season. I don't know if that tops them though. I don't know if they go up a full percentage point. Either way, Utah State's ridiculously good. And if you want, again, as I'll stress this, as a team, they're shooting 43.4%. If you want to cross compare here, Boise State, amongst guys that actually, have attempted a couple of threes this year, only Chibuzo Abo is shooting above that for Boise State. He's at 44.4. Everybody else is below that and by a pretty good margin, I would say. So, Max Rice is an outstanding 3-point shooter, and he's shooting 43.3%. And again, as a team, Utah State shooting 43.4. So, that gives you all the perspective you need to know about how much these guys can really light it up. Ashworth is shooting above 50% himself. These guys can really go. Am I sold on them, BJ? This is where I think the Boise State's experience over these last couple of years could definitely come into their benefit, because we know the Boise State can play defense, right? And for the most part, they play pretty good perimeter defense. And so if you can make Utah State feel a little uncomfortable and try to win a defensive game, then all of a sudden I love Boise State's chances. Because if you go back, when Utah State's 13-2 this year, outstanding record. They're 13-0 when they shoot above 43.5%. They're 0-2 when they shoot below that mark. So, if you can try to turn this into the brick fight that Boise State has loved to play these last couple of years, and try to get Utah State feeling a little uncomfortable, then all of a sudden, your chances really increase. And, this game being played at Extra Mile Arena, it really sounds like they think they're going to push capacity tomorrow. All that stuff, it's not cliche. It really is it really can make a difference in a game like this tomorrow. And so it'll be big. It's gonna. I'm excited because I feel like oftentimes, BJ, we have to wait till San Diego State comes to town at the somewhere in the middle of February or late February to where we get an atmosphere and a team of that's being considered for a quad one win into Boise. And now it's January 6th and we get one tomorrow, so that'll be awesome.
You look at the stats here, and I mean, it's not just the percentage they're shooting, and I know you touched on this, but it's how many threes they're making in a game. Now, they did make 21 threes in a game against Westminster, Utah. That skews the numbers a little bit, but they've got games against Oral Roberts. They hit 19 threes. They hit 14 threes against San Diego, 12 against Santa Clara, 13 against Utah Tech. And then recently against SMU, they had 10, 11 against Washington State. And then in their most recent game, 6 of 12 against Air Force. But it's not just the fact that they're shooting a high percentage. They're also heaving it up at a pretty high clip. I think they're over 10 made threes per game. So they're getting like 30-plus points a game from the three-point range.
Yeah, if you look at their season numbers, BJ, almost 40% of their points on the year have been on the three-point shot. So, I mean, I don't have a great perspective on where that ranks nationally, but, I mean, just covering basketball for a while now, that seems like a pretty legit clip in terms of what type of scoring you get, just shooting the three. So yeah, it should be a good game. I'm excited to see how it plays out. And let's put this thing on the flip side for just a second here, BJ. Utah State hasn't been. I want to describe them as the best defensive team in America for sure, right? And if you look at what they're doing on that end of the court, opponents are almost connecting on 35% of their threes against the Aggies. So that's a pretty high clip to be, to surrender compared to Boise State, which is they're one of the better teams at stopping the three in the country. They're only allowing their opponents to shoot 28% from behind the arc. So it is going to be an awesome battle of strengths tomorrow at Extra Mile Arena.
What do you want to see from Boise State, though, in terms of just obviously the defense has to be good, but in terms of just not worrying about Utah State, just what Boise State needs to do? And, obviously gave up the big lead, was able to hold on against San Jose, did a little better against the three in that game. But, Boise State, I still think has a lot of room to play better than they have been. And in particular, I think 8 or 9 total points the last 2 games from the bench.
Yep. It's a concern for me, BJ. It is. I mean, and I know that we've been talking about this for a while now, but that is where I'm going to go with this. And, last year, you go back and if a guy in the starting lineup had an off night, you had Max Rice to try to save them. You had Najee Smith to try to save them. I mean, I think it was the Wyoming game last year where Naj came off the bench and had like 15. And I think a little bit of the concern for me is, and hey, I hope somebody's going to prove me wrong. I do. But a little bit of the concern for me is it doesn't feel like anybody has the capability coming off the bench to do that right now, especially in a significant game. Yep. And, I appreciated Leon's response. Asked him about Sada the other day, and I don't think he wasn't just speaking to Sada with this answer. He was speaking to all the guys off the bench, and more or less kind of saying that, when he's talking about guys fighting for minutes, right? He's also listening to the players in his starting lineup. Hey, you need to get him some more minutes. Hey, we believe he should be on the floor a little bit longer. And if he hears that, his guys that he really trusts and believes in saying things like that, he's going to listen to them. So you have to find ways to show in practice that, it's not a question of if he should get more minutes, but you have support. Like let's let this guy get some run.
Yeah.
But that is just a concern for me, because if there's, whether it be minutes, production, whatever, there's just a lot on the starting lineup right now. Almost to amount that you worry a little bit, because one of those guys, I mean, they deserve an off night every now and then. They do. It's basketball. It's sports. Like you're not going to score 15 on 40% shooting every single time you go out, right? So, that's just my take.
Hey, check out rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. ROEpaint.com is the website. 15% off right now. They're offering on interior painting if you use the promo code BNN15. So check them out, ROEpaint.com, and use that promo code BNN15. Lithia Ford of Boise, we appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News, a love of community and the sports that bring us together. That's why Lithia Ford of Boise is the official sponsor of Bronco Athletics and proud to be part of Bronco Nation News. But no matter what team colors you wear, Lithia Ford wants you to know you're welcome here. Get more information, find a vehicle for you at lithiafordboise.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. We appreciate their support. The new sponsor of our comment line, the ICCU YouTube chat. Their mobile e-branch online banking is so easy. And I'm so happy that the Raines family made the switch, and you can too at ICCU.com. If you're looking for a new job, how about transcomservice.com? Get into the trucking industry, get out there towing that first load in no time, get out on the open road, whether it be in this vehicle you see on the screen, the Amazon truck in your neighborhood. You won't be disappointed with a new career change. It's a very lucrative one, transcomservice.com. And the Blue and Orange Store, check them out, theblueandorange.store.com. Free shipping, any order over $40. That's right, free shipping, any order over $40. Make sure you check them out online, theblueandorangestore.com, or in person, the second story there, the second of the Boise Town Square Mall on the second floor. They got all the retro hats and jerseys and things. Tomorrow is a retro game, Jay Tust. They're wearing the retro logo on the shorts. The coaches will have the orange retro logo polos on. You can get all that stuff for yourself at the Blue and Orange Store. One, I don't know if it's concern, but it's I think it is getting to be a concern. We're 15 games in, man. Tyson Degenhardt's three-point shooting. I asked a couple questions about it yesterday. Colin Mitchell wrote a story for Bronco Nation News that's up on the site now, and you can read about it there. And I hope folks will go read it there at BroncoNationNews.com. And Boise State's not concerned. Tyson Degenhardt's not concerned. Leon Rice, not concerned. But it's just so notable, Jay, that all offseason, Tyson Degenhardt worked and worked and worked, at least we were told, on his three-point shot. And going into the season, Leon Rice told us, hey, he's gone from a good three-point shooter to a great three-point shooter. And, he shot 42.5% last year, and you're expecting those numbers to, stay the same or at least go up. Well, he's only made 15 three-pointers in 15 games, and 26.3% he is from three-point range. He's 15 of 57. I know Leon Rice said you got to treat him like a golfer and not mess with the swing and just let it fly, and it's going to change. And Tyson said they're going to start falling for me. We've seen some games. There's a game here and there where he's 2 for 3 and you think he's getting it going, but 0 for 5 again the other night, and sitting at 26.3%. What's your take on Tyson Degenhardt and the outside shooting to this point?
Leon's had a lot of teams that have really shot the ball well from three, and so there might be a little left to be desired for a number of guys. I'd throw Marcus Shaver in there too.
Sure.
We know he can shoot it much better than he has. He's down about 24.4%. So I guess it's things like that. You started this conversation, BJ, by saying Boise State's been playing good, but you definitely still feel like there's room to grow. There's room to get better, and whether it be the bench or three-point shooting, those are kind of areas where I would agree with you. Now, Chibuzo's really it's almost the exact opposite with him. Buzo was shooting it well from three, but had a tough time getting buckets in other ways, right? And now all of a sudden, he seems to be a little bit more comfortable with his mid-range game. He's been much more efficient in those regards lately. He was 6 of 10 the other night shooting overall. But yeah, that's an area where you think they could grow and improve. I think that you call it a concern, and the sample size is big enough to call it that, I believe, right? I mean, if this bleeds into 20 games, then you probably have to start to think about doing things a little differently, right? Or at least divvying up those three-point shots a little differently. But I think you have different levels of cause for concern, right? And when it comes to a guy like Tyson Degenhardt, even though he's not shooting the three ball like you think he can, I also have zero to little concern that it's going to affect other parts of his game, because he's just such a mentally strong kid, a leader that he's going to show up and play on defense. He's not going to make mistakes on defense or offense. Look at the other night, BJ. He goes and he gets 4 offensive rebounds. 2 of them were on one possession, right? Well, on each of those possessions where he got an offensive rebound, Boise State ended up scoring. They had 7 points off second chance opportunities from Tyson Degenhardt in a game they won by 3 points. So I mean, yes, I'm a little worried about his ability to shoot the three. I have zero concern about how it's going to affect other things that he does on the floor.
Rudy says there's a couple comments here. One, that maybe he's getting tired having to guard the big guys down in the post.
That could be true. I mean, I could
Rudy
see that.
says also, unless you establish a low post offensive threat, it's easier for teams to guard against the three. Yep, as he said. Yep, and so
there was. They had a little bit more of a threat last year. I mean, that's another issue.
That's another issue we've talked about too, in terms of the lack of getting much of anything from Lucas Milner or Mo Silla. You saw when you play against a legit big guy in Diallo for San Jose State, he kind of had his way down there, had some thunderous dunks. I mean, you got Mensa for San Diego State waiting. You got some other teams with some big guys. I mean, this is that is if that's one of the better, if the bench is concern one, then 1A, 1B is probably maybe the lack of an inside presence.
And again, it's nothing against a guy like Naj, but he has said Naj being Naj. He just kind of has this little unorthodox way of playing, right? And when you can bring that off the bench, I just think it just adds to it, and it makes things feel he's such a threat. Like, you don't know exactly like how he's going to do it or what he's going to do, but something's going to happen.
Yep.
And like, I just think it was a real big luxury when they could bring a guy like him off the bench just to kind of change the pace a little bit.
Perry wants Mo to start. Perry wants Mo to start.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if that's the answer. Like, you talk to Leon, and man, Leon believes in development. He believes in his guys. And I mean, what else is he going to do? But he really believes in them. And he's continuing to push and fight and try to get these guys to a point where they can be a little bit more, consistent. And I will say this, BJ, we were talking about this before the show. This is just, coincidentally happened. But there's a guy named Isaac Jones playing at Idaho this year that Boise State really wanted. Isaac is a big that went for 42 and 12 last night. And I was looking it up before the show because we partially cover Idaho over at Boise State, obviously, or over at KTVB, excuse me. But in the last 13 seasons, he has one of two 40-point double-doubles where that guy also got 4 or more blocks. I mean, that you want to talk about a game changer down low. So either way, he was a guy that Boise State was in contention for. His JC coach ends up getting hired at Idaho. He ends up going to Idaho. I don't. Maybe that's a story that's not applicable here at all. But it just made me pause for a second and go, man. Because then after that, I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, BJ, but I think after that they shifted to Mo, and they hit the transfer portal and got him.
Yep. So
it would be awesome if they could get a little bit more out of those guys and bring them along. And if that doesn't happen, then it's gonna continue to put more pressure on guys like Tyson and Marcus and Tabuzo, and
I mean, we love Najee Smith, but you saw a couple times when he's going up against a 7-footer, it doesn't always work out too well. I know of at least one block and another altered shot, and so love Najee, but I'm not sure a 12-foot fadeaway is the best shot on offense when he's taking that.
I'll take effort any day of the week.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I'll take effort any day of the week over talent, but it's at some point in time, man. Like, effort can only take your there are some God-given abilities that other guys have that effort can sometimes neutralize, but not all the time, I guess. So
a lot of comments on the chat. Derek says Milner has the yips. Keaton agrees with Perry and says he thinks Milner could also start. He'd rather have Najee bringing energy off the bench. Don't forget that they turned things around. The winning streak started originally when they did the opposite and put Najee in the starting lineup. Jordan says once Milner's motor gets going, it's Milner time.
I think with Lucas too, like, you can tell if he's like, you can tell when his confidence is there, right? Yep. And so I don't know how you get him something going early. Get him a couple of I don't know whether it's touches on offense or spots to make plays on defense. I don't know what it is. But if you can get him a couple of those things early, it kind of seems like he starts to believe a little bit more. So I'm not a coach. I don't freaking know, in all honesty, BJ. But I do know that in sports, confidence is a huge factor into the success or demise of any player. And so if he can just find a way to get a little bit of that confidence working early on, I think that could really help him.
Hey, Boise Dentistry Co. Check them out if you're looking for a new dentist. BoiseDentistryCo.com. They got locations across the Treasure Valley. Full family dentistry at BoiseDentistryCo.com. UnitedCommercialInsurance.com as well if you're looking for business insurance. 229-822. They can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. Make sure you check them out. UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Ridley's Family Markets. ShopRidleys.com. We big sponsor, supporter of Ridley's. We appreciate them. Go check them out. Locations all over the place. Download the Ridley's app. Download the Ridley's app. You can get more information. Find a location near you at shopridleys.com. They're providing some food for the plane as well, Jay. Ridley's Family Market's going to provide some food for the plane, so we appreciate Ridley's and their sponsorship of Bronco Nation News. And, of course, Matt Bauscher is going to be on the private jet. He's going on the trip. We appreciate BauscherRealEstate.com. Matt Bauscher, the #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. So check him out if you're looking for to buy or sell a home. Look no further than Matt Bauscher, BauscherRealEstate.com. We're at the 30 minutes. Do you have time for a football question, or you got to go, Jay?
I do, but real quick, I want 30 more seconds on basketball real quick.
All right.
I think we have to mention how badass Max Rice is.
Of course.
In this is news or information we would never get in football. Ever.
And by the way, well, go ahead. I will say this is what you're about to say is not something that's like 2 games old. I had kind of kept a lid on this for a while, but this goes back before the Washington State game. This is something he's dealt with for over a month. Mm-hmm. What you're about to reveal here. So
we're talking with Leon yesterday, and we're asking him about 12, and somewhere it slips out that Max is dealing with a herniated disc. And I spoke to Max briefly after that, and he was like, well, I thought we were keeping that under wraps. But I think the point of it is Leon's like, hey, it doesn't change the way that he's going to approach a game. It doesn't change the way that an opponent is going to approach him. So he's dealing with a herniated disc, and he's just going to gut through a bunch of pain until this season is over. So when you see Max out there playing 34, 35 minutes.
And falling to the floor when he's diving into the lane and stuff, I mean.
Yeah, this might sound weird, but I covered Max when he was in high school, and for some reason, if you played high school and I covered you, whether you're playing here or Southwestern Louisiana State, I don't care. I just feel like I have a different connection to your success, and I'm proud of the player that Max is.
You're a Max Rice Lemming, man. You want to get in good with his dad. It's okay.
Who's his dad?
I love how when Max talks, he always calls him Leon. He doesn't call him. Yeah, Leon was saying this, and he was saying.
I am though, man. He's a tough kid. That
dude, when he got here, man.
Yeah.
He was a guy that like people thought, oh, what they're just giving him a token spot on the team because his dad's the coach, and then he redshirted. And now, I mean, and then he's only playing because his dad's the coach. Now, I mean, he's literally at a point now where he's one of their best 2 or 3 players.
Yeah, without his offensive performance in the first half against San Jose State, excuse me, I don't know if Boise State, beats the Spartans. I don't know if they do.
Well, we have the full. I'm sure you guys have it up on KTVB as well, but with the full interview with Max Rice and Leon Rice, and Leon talking about the herniated disc and all that, you can go check out the YouTube channels to check that out. Bronco Nation News, KTVB. Jay, we're over the time. If you want to say you can, if not, fine. But if you want one parting shot on football, Keikani Lamia Gonzalez retires. He was dealing with concussions and stuff. So now they have 2 open spots on the O-line. You had Rajon Tatum, a linebacker, enter the transfer portal yesterday as well. Anything in the last couple of days, your parting comment here on football?
Yeah, I think that somebody asked me on Twitter yesterday. I think BJ, my count is 15 guys that since the start of this season, and that includes a guy like Jacob Golden, who you kind of felt like probably wasn't going to be a part of the program. But
let's count.
15 guys that have hit the transfer portal at Boise State since the start of the season. And that includes guys like Hank Bachmeier, Taquan Tyler, those guys, right? There's none that like really are concerning for me, if I'm being honest. They're not losing any starters or guys that would have started in 2023. They're all pretty justifiable or understandable, I guess I would say. Maybe Isaiah Banya is the closest one that probably could have pushed for a starting role in 2023. But I don't know. I just maybe a new situation is best for everybody in those regards. I don't know. So nothing in the transfer portal really concerns me too much so far. On the offensive line, again, K. Connie, just given his injury history, man, that dude, any time the coaches had the opportunity, they would praise his character and his talent and his effort and all that stuff. But man, there might be a higher power out there that just that gave him a tough card when it came to his health, and so he's going to decide to pursue something outside of football. I'm interested to see if Garrett Kern wants to come back again next year. If he does, all of a sudden that competition on the offensive line really picks up. I think you feel good about that one. So outside of that, I expect Boise State to crush, just absolutely hammer the transfer portal prior to this next
Yeah, I mean,
signing period.
When you put it that way, 15 guys, it's almost a whole class. It's now transferred out.
But I really do think you can say now it's just this is the new normal. Like it is what it is. But I just don't know how many of those guys like truly shock you that are leaving.
Yep, and I counted our list has 15 as well, so it that matches up. And whether it be transfer portals or guys just retiring, like KHG, and yeah, they got 2 holes on the O line. That'd be a good spot. I saw your Cougs got 2 offensive linemen in the portal that both started last year. Maybe Cade Beresford helps lure one of them down here. Who knows? You think the edge position could be somewhere they want to hit that transfer portal as well?
Interior that D line.
Yep, and then even maybe the secondary still to try to bolster that up a little bit.
I definitely expect a safety or something for sure.
Yeah. Well, hey, Jay, appreciate your time as always. Apologize for going over. And we'll be watching KTVB tonight, tomorrow, all weekend. You guys will have by the way, kudos to Morgan Romero and the whole team for the coverage of the Idaho shooting up there the last couple of days. That was riveting stuff, and the team at KTVB did an outstanding job missing people. Brian Holmes and everybody else that was involved with that. That was crazy
Alexander's
stuff.
up there too. They're talented at what they do. The stabbing situation, it's a horrific story, and it humbles me at times that we get to cover sports. So
yep. Yeah. Kudos to the KTVB team for their work on that, and I'm sure they'll have continued strong coverage of that moving forward. I think the 12th is the next hearing or something, so we'll be paying attention to that. So Jay, appreciate your time as always, man. We'll talk to you later. We'll see you later, and big one tomorrow at Extra Mile Arena. Jay Tust will be there wearing a white headband, and you can come say hello to Jay. And all right, that'll do it. Appreciate everybody for checking us out. Go check out KTVB.com. Check out BroncoNationNews.com. Have a great Friday, and we'll see you from Extra Mile Arena tomorrow, 4:30. I like it. A nice afternoon tip-off. Extra Mile Arena. Should be a big crowd. Go get your tickets if you don't have them because it's going to sell out, as Jay said. So have a great day. Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com.